What is up, you guys? Welcome back to I Seen That. I'm your boy, Mr. I Seen That. If you're here for the first time, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you can be aware the next time your boy, Mr. I Seen That, drops his next reaction video. So, we're going to be reacting to the shocking truth behind Whoopty. And you know, a lot of people were, starting to question and want to know if CJ is, really affiliated with that other side. So, I guess this is, like a little documentary behind him, I guess, per se. So, we're just going to go ahead and get into the video and see what's going on. See if my boy CJ is Whoopty.
Humble Brit, the last rapper that I remember being addicted to blue cheese was Lord Bluntington of the Stilton Squad. However, last year, a dairy-devouring driller by the name of CJ burst onto the scene entertaining millions with his banger of a track, Whoopty. Thing is, if you're a suspicious drill fan like me, you probably heard the track Whoopty and had a whole bunch of questions. Where did this guy come from? Is that Anwell AA's little brother? And who for the love of God is responsible for those sideburns?
Mattingly, get rid of those sideburns.
What sideburns?
You heard me, hippie.
But really though, one of the biggest questions surrounding this mysterious New York driller is exactly what gang is he drilling for? And after Googling this and being informed his gang is apparently the Grove Street family, I only had more questions. However, after looking a little deeper into things, it's soon begun to appear that our old pal CJ from Whoopty might be as real of a gangster as CJ from San Andreas. In fact, ever since he blew up, a lot of people have been pointing to CJ the rapper, saying that he's a fake gangster, an industry plant, and some have even suggested he is the new 6ix9ine.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Yes, with that questionable red rack around his neck, no discernible gang affiliations to speak of, and a whole line of real New York G's lining up to call out CJ for being a fake, then it's no surprise that people are looking at this Hispanic heartthrob as the next Takeshi 6ix9ine. So today, people, let's have a closer look at CJ's affiliations in the music, in the industry, and in the streets, to try and work out once and for all if Mr. Whoopty is really a gangster bringing them gats out, or if things on his side are really just a movie, in this case, a daytime TV remake of the Treyway story. People, today is the day we find out the truth about CJ's gang affiliations.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
CJ was around 19 when he began to test the waters and record music. In fact, some of his earliest efforts are even still alive on his SoundCloud profile today. Tracks like On Me, Slept On, Letter to the Law, and Shooters, all pretty basic generic New York street rap with references to busting guns, hustling for money, or just being an underrated rapper in these streets. I'd give it A for effort, but an F for originality. But thankfully, CJ was getting support for his music from the very start, because it would turn out that his uncle is a guy named James Cruz, a rap game industry player who had an illustrious career, starting around working in marketing for Reebok in the 96 and 97.
See, I did not know this. A lot of rappers who come into the industry, they really have like connections to people. And sometimes, us as fans, we probably may not, we just don't think that. We just think that they come from where they come from. And, they grind and they probably made a few connections along the way. And then, they got their break. But a lot of people in the industry have like big time connections like this. But a lot of times, when you do have big connections like this and you trying to get into the game and trying to do whatever you're trying to do, a lot of times it don't work just because, you know somebody who's really like tied in. But, a lot of, people do get in and get success this way.
And Allen Iverson campaigns, Cruz eventually landed top jobs at Bad Boy Records and Violator, where he worked closely alongside Chris Lighty, who played an instrumental role in the rise of 50 Cent. Though for the record, these days, Fofty ain't really messing with Cruz like that. And eventually, he found himself working so closely under Diddy, 50 Cent would even speculate there was something kinky going on, as Cruz ended up heading up the business end of P. Diddy's empire, doing a 9-year stint there before leaving to start up his own Latin-focused marketing company. And hey, what better Latin product is there to market than your own nephew? So it would turn out that Big Unc's James Cruz was the perfect Kickstarter for a young Latin rapper looking to make his way in the game. So right from the start, CJ was paired up with a young, poppin' producer by the name of Busy Banco, the same producer who funnily enough went on to produce the track Mood Swings for Pop Smoke. Banco ironically ended up producing an early track for CJ called Pop, and you'll never guess who an unknown CJ managed to get to be his very first feature in the rap game. Oh, only a furry little Latin heartthrob by the name of 6ix9ine. Yes, as a complete unknown, CJ managed to land one of Pop Smoke's producers and a rainbow-haired clout package back in 2018 when a 6ix9ine verse was actually worth something. Ironically, CJ's song with 6ix9ine didn't actually end up doing any numbers, and he's since taken it off of his YouTube, but it still sits today on his SoundCloud page with a surprisingly low 220,000 spins. So, the 6ix9ine finesse didn't blow up CJ the way that he'd maybe hoped. So he continued grinding and dropping auto-tune heavy pop-style tracks like his song Toast Up. He also had the track Times Like This, which is a pretty dope song. In my opinion, it's probably his best. In fact, I wouldn't be so surprised if he brought this one back for his album. Thing is though, the streets still weren't paying enough attention to our boy CJ, no matter what he did for clout. Hell, he even switched sides on 6ix9ine and dropped a diss song called Exposed after he came out as a rap. In fact, the very last song that CJ dropped before Whoopty came out was a track called Understood, another auto-tune heavy generic New York trap banger, which I don't think is particularly standout, but hell, CJ seems to think otherwise because it's the only old song from the early stages of his career that is still publicly available on his YouTube channel. In fact, Understood was CJ's first ever proper music video, establishing that now beloved trend of all of CJ's music videos being filmed with him basically just standing in front of an expensive car. Thing is though, if you look at the comments on that Understood music video today, you'll know that something big is on the horizon for CJ. And at the end of July 2020, the track Whoopty drops and changes the game forever. This is the first time that CJ has jumped on a New York drill, UK drill type beat. Bear in mind, the New York drill scene is absolutely popping at this point. This is 5 months after Pop Smoke was tragically killed, and the very same month that his posthumous album Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon dropped and went #1 on Billboard. At this point in time, it felt like hip-hop had an enormous, gaping Pop Smoke-shaped hole in it. And while the likes of Fabio, Foreign, Chef G, and 22Gs were filling that hole with reasonable efficiency, CJ's Whoopty was just different. It somehow managed to tick every box on the casual hip-hop fans' wish list. It had the drums of a Pop Smoke song, the melody of a King Von song, because if you didn't know, Whoopty actually uses the very same melody as Von's earlier hit Exposing Me, and at this point in 2020, it was straight up King Von mania. So CJ's coming out with a song that sounds like both King Von and Pop Smoke at the height of their popularities. Now, CJ appears in the music video for Whoopty as Big Body Best would say, a Latin individual who happens to be wearing a blood bandana around his neck. So now you've ticked the 6ix9ine box too. But then, the true finesse came in the lyrics of Whoopty, because for 3 whole years, CJ had been struggling to stand out from the crowd with his unoriginal lyrics and tired style. However, when you combine the imagery of King Von, Pop Smoke, and 6ix9ine all into one person, it kind of stops mattering what you say. The lyrics to Whoopty are incredibly generic, unlike a lot of other gang-focused New York drill. I mean, some of these songs are so steeped in confusing gang lingo, you need a grip interpreter just to understand what half of Pop Smoke's talking about. On Whoopty, however, it's incredibly easy to follow what CJ's talking about. He's addicted to blue cheese, we all love cheese. He's about his paper like loose leaf, I like making notes too. And you know he's about that chicken like a 2-piece. I mean, if he was really about his chicken, he would have ordered a 20-nugget share box, but that's besides the point. But as well as the lyrics, the music video for Whoopty plays out like a game of hip-hop spot the cliche. Ooh, Lambo, 1 point. Blood rag, 2 points. Ooh, bunch of people making gang signs to the camera, I think I just got blood, bingo. But of course, the entire song is wrapped up in that one catchy one-liner, Whoopty. It's the perfect catchphrase, it's a greeting, it's something fun to just shout out to your homies, which turns out is the perfect recipe for a hit drill song. So, all of these elements work together and created a perfect storm for CJ, taking him and Whoopty straight to the top. The track racked up millions of views within a month, and its success was massively boosted by TikTok, where it racked up millions of spins as a result of its viral cringe, dance. But as well as the TikTok youngers, the old heads had their bases covered too, with Whoopty getting a big push on radio and from DJs, all thanks to Big Unc James Cruz pulling some strings and duly bragging about it on Instagram afterwards. So before you know it, Whoopty has become a juggernaut in the underground drill scene. The track is doing numbers in the streets, the song is racking up millions of views, and so in an effort to protect his investment, on October the 21st, CJ files a trademark application for the phrase Whoopty. If you ever needed a sure sign that CJ owns and operates the Whoopty, there it is. But at a certain point, some people in the rap game take a step back and say, hang on, what is this Whoopty you speak of? What does it mean? Where does it come from? And you know what? It reminds me an awful lot of a little old catchphrase called Treyway.
Now I ain't represented Grove Street in 5 years. but the ballers won't give a shit.
In November, Whoopty continues its meteoric rise to the top. CJ is getting interviewed to break down the song's meaning, where he says that Whoopty was just a greeting that he uses with his friends.
Pretty much Whoopty, like, is worldwide now. You know, I got babies, you know, saying Whoopty. I got, you know, middle-aged people, you know, older people. Pretty much it's just like a roll call, you know, whenever I see my guys in the street, and, you know, that's how we greet each other. It's like a New York when people say, "You're."
Now, this is technically true. However, before CJ made it famous, the phrase Whoopty was a greeting used amongst a specific group of people. According to the feds, the phrase Whoopty is a greeting of choice for the New York blood set the Bloodhound Brims. Yes, people, just like 6ix9ine's Treyway and Pop Smoke's Whoa, Whoopty is yet another viral greeting used by the Blood Gang. I mean, the rate at which these guys write viral catchphrases is crazy. At a certain point, they should just give up gangbanging and go full-time writing radio jingles.
If you want your ops blown away today, then you best call 555 Treyway!
Anyway, the Whoopty guys are a different set of the Bloods to the Treyway guys. So the Whoopties, or Bloodhound Brims, descend from the Brim set of the Bloods. And using a little unverified Reddit detective work, it seems to suggest there's a few different street crews that are associated with the Bloodhound Brims, including but not limited to Whoopty, the Jets, G5, and the Hounds. Guess Mr. Burns was gang.
Smithers released the hounds.
So the Brim Bloods are sometimes referred to as Hounds. And with that in mind, we can begin to spot a few coded gang references in the track Whoopty. One specific line where he says that he's posted with the Hats and the Sleazies. The Hats of course refer to the Brims, and it seems that the reference to the Sleazies has something to do with a crew associated with fellow red rockin' New York scream rapper Sos Moolah, who himself has been connected to the Mac Baller family Bloods. So if you know what you're looking for, CJ is definitely throwing up his flag on Whoopty. But you know what? Gangbanging on songs isn't anything new for CJ. In fact, he actually learned from the best, as that track Pop with 6ix9ine from all the way back in 2018 also had gang references in it, with CJ saying that he's with the Billies, meaning the Treyway Bloods, and the Hats, meaning the Whoopty Brims all the way back then. So, CJ sure wants us to know that he hangs out with the Bloods. But the question is, just how tough are these Hats that CJ keeps on speaking of? Well, the New York Post in 2014 referred to the Mac Baller Brims as the most dangerous gang in New York. It outlines their territory in the Bronx, with their influence spreading all the way across the city from Brooklyn, New Jersey, and even CJ's native Staten Island. The crew's heritage dates all the way back to the original LA Bloods, who referred to themselves as the LA Hat Gang, later becoming the 5'9 Brims for their turf in 59th Street, with the East Coast set of the 5'9 Brims popping up in the early 90s in the cells of Rikers Island Prison, spearheaded by incarcerated Blood pioneer Omar Porti, aka OG Mac, who ended up playing a pivotal role in setting up numerous New York Blood sets, including the New York Brims. This led to the Mac Baller Brims as they're known today, the name being a reference to the original founder OG Mac, and according to the New York Post, this is one of 4 Brim sets that make the New York Blood Brim Army. And according to that article, this gang are responsible for numerous shootouts in New York, which have even left innocent bystanders killed. But don't get it twisted, these guys are known for way more crazy crimes than just shootouts. They previously caught headlines for an insane incident where they had kidnapped the father of a North Carolina prosecutor, an attack ordered by a Brim who was behind bars as retaliation for the sentence that he was given.
Kevin Melton was convicted by a federal jury of devising a kidnapping plot in 2014 aimed at Wake County Assistant DA Colleen Jansen, who had put him in this jail. The 51-year-old was accused of using a cell phone from jail to orchestrate the crime, but the kidnappers went to the wrong address and grabbed Jansen's father, Frank, by mistake. The gang members then took Jansen to Atlanta, where he was held and tortured over a 5-day period.
Crazy, but it gets worse.
Hold on, man. I ain't laughing about like what they did to her pops, but you ordered a hit and you got the wrong person. Like, what is you thinking? Like, they about to throw you under the jail, man. People was man, what is you thinking, man? Boy, I don't know what people thinking, man.
Apparently to join the Brims, you need to do an initiation. This could be as simple as getting jumped in, or it could be as serious as being forced to commit MEIDA. In fact, there was even an incident where a 14-year-old boy was sent to do a drilling as part of an initiation, but he ended up getting caught and shot dead by the cops.
Everyone in this neighborhood is talking about what happened to an alleged teen gunman. Police say they had no choice but to shoot him after he refused to drop his gun.
They say around 3 a.m. Sunday, 2 rookie cops heard gunshots near East 151st Street and Cortlandt Avenue and saw him running after someone with a gun in his hand. When they confronted him, police say he did not put down the weapon.
Meanwhile, in the more modern day, leaders of the Bloodhound Brims have been handed heavy sentences in recent years. A big indictment was dropped by the feds in 2016 that accused the 9-4 crew of the Bloodhound Brims of being involved in around 40 acts of violence and 4 murders. Feds said that they turned the neighborhood into a war zone, and it was this specific group that was distinctive for greeting each other with that catchphrase, "Whoopty." Hey, you know you got a catchy slogan when even the feds are catching on. Anyway, this case didn't end well for the Bloodhound Brims. They'd been pretty much caught red-handed doing a lot of serious dirt in the streets. Hell, there was even one example where the feds had claimed that one of the Brims had actually shot up a fried chicken spot with an AK-47 assault rifle. Forget about fake 6ix9ine talking about up in the chops at the chicken shops. These guys were actually catching the ops at the chicken shop and up in the chop. Eventually, the leader of the Bloodhound Brims, La Brim, aka Breezy, aka Boss Dog, was convicted and sentenced to 30 years in jail in 2019. Today, La Brim is doing 30 years behind his affiliation with the Whoopty crew. This guy is the realest Whoopty blood that there is. Thing is, there's only one problem. He says he's never heard of CJ.
CJ made a hot song, but the content that he used, that's not his content. So his foundation is based off of live. He's not Whoopty. He don't know nothing about Whoopty. He just seen a fly splash and he jacked it. Now you jacking something that they got dudes in jail for. There's allegations behind that word right there that made it such a splash for you to want to jack it. They gave me 30 years for a lifestyle full of allegations of a lifestyle that you talking about that you never lived.
You picked the wrong house, fool! Hey, Big Smoke! CJ? Oh, my dog! What's up?
It was all good just a week ago. In November, Whoopty ended up landing on the Billboard charts. CJ was seen getting a Coke Boys chain from French Montana, sparking rumors that he'd signed with him. And then in January, he signed his very own deal with Warner. And apparently, when CJ was discussing his ambitions going the major label route with the CEO of Warner, he apparently expressed an interest in bringing the drill sound to the mainstream. And ultimately, that's exactly what he did. By the end of January 2021, Whoopty is certified gold. The song has charted in over 20 countries internationally, including Greece, where it goes #1, the UK, where it goes #2, and the United States, where as of recording today, Whoopty is currently sitting at #10 on the Billboard chart. It seemed like CJ used the major label cheat code perfectly, getting his paperwork straight with the label and then going straight to the top. But the thing is, as CJ's star grew, so did the voices of people stepping up to call him a phony. A Pitchfork article came out with the headline, "New York drill rapper CJ is nothing but a shameless ripoff," basically saying that his entire career is just a cash grab, and going as far as to say that his track Whoopty is nothing but a karaoke version of a 22G's song. In fact, speaking of which, actual New York driller and very proud Gangsta Disciples member 22G's wasn't too impressed by CJ's karaoke efforts either. In fact, 22G's ended up remixing the track Whoopty with his CJ diss, Goofy, going at CJ for being a fraud. And saying specifically, "I heard he not even Whoopty." Now that remix ironically gets taken down by CJ's team on a copyright basis. Now I'm not sure that's such a wise move. I mean, if this guy said that he wanted to take down one of my videos, I'd probably do it straight away. Not trying to get those problems. CJ's clearly a braver blood than I am. Anyway, no matter how industry CJ got, the more and more Whoopty got exposure, the more and more real New York street gangsters were coming out to call CJ a phony. Knuckles Brim came out to drop a diss track called You're Not Hound, calling out CJ for not being a real Bloodhound Brim. Fabio Foreign's stunt double and fellow Brim, G5 Reels, came out to tell the world that CJ is not gang.
Everybody tag the CJ nigga, cause I want son in attendance. As far as him being ham, he's not ham. I'ma die for this shit, nigga. You playing with this nigga. I don't play with this nigga. I'm hounding for real, nigga. I'm Jet for real, nigga.
G5 would go on to say La Brim, who we mentioned earlier, is the real Whoopty, serving 30 years behind this.
Gangsta, you got my bro up north for 30 years right now, nigga. 30, nigga. For this shit, nigga. You talking about Whoopty, nigga.
And he'd go on to say that the real moment that CJ crossed the line was when he trademarked the phrase Whoopty.
You have to uncopyright that Whoopty shit, nigga.
But G5 Reels also later dropped a helpful bit of wisdom, telling the world that apparently Whoopty did used to be a real blood for a different set called Hit Squad Brim.
You was Hit Squad Brim. You was Hit Squad Brim. Cause I don't even know if them niggas embrace you anymore, cause you shitting on them too.
This was a sentiment that seemed to also be supported by chatter on Twitter, where some have suggested that at a certain point in time, CJ was indeed plugged in with Hit Squad Brim, another blood set in New York who are known to rep Whoopty. Now, Hit Squad Brim is a blood set that has history dating all the way back to '96, but I couldn't really find too much specific info about the modern day stuff that's going on with them. And I certainly couldn't find any more evidence for CJ having been affiliated other than the references in his songs. But you know what? Maybe that's the point. Beyond simply shouting "Whoopty" and that he's chilling with the hats and the brims, the gang references in CJ's music are intentionally vague. CJ's made it hard for you to work out what gang he's supposedly throwing up, and I would wager that he's made that hard for you on purpose. Who knows, maybe CJ really was a hit squad hitter back in the day, with hella bodies under his belt, and he's just been good at getting into the industry and covering his tracks. But the most reasonable explanation is probably that CJ just took a play out of 6ix9ine's book and fluffed up what little gang affiliations that he had to try and get some rap game clout. Which I guess brings us to one of the oldest unanswered questions in hip-hop history. If CJ isn't a real gangster, does that really matter? You are not Whoopty. My uncle said he could get me on 6ix9ine's feature. Now that's how you get maybe I'm wearing Treyway shit. What am I going to do if the real Whoopties come for me? 22 G's is going to kill me. 22 G's is up and down as a little too tight. Take it off. It's Treyway. Look, to me, it doesn't really matter if CJ's a fraud. Rick Ross has been claiming to be the biggest drug kingpin in Miami for over a decade. But we know that deep down he's nothing more than an ex-prison guard with a delectable taste for lemon pepper wings. None of Rick Ross's lies about the past matter because he has given us 10 years of fire music. CJ's track Whoopty became a hit song for a number of reasons. Sure, the red bandana, a gangster catchphrase, and an uncle in the industry will certainly give you a kickstart, but you'd be lying to yourself if you couldn't admit that the track Whoopty was hard. All of the advantages and finesses that CJ used to get to the top were secondary to his song being an absolute slapper. Whether or not he's going to have any longevity in this game is yet to be seen, but whether or not he's really in these streets drilling is always going to be secondary to whether or not he is making poppin' music. I've said this before, but I'd much rather a rapper was a complete fraud and had never done a single bit of work in the streets than they were a real gangster and ultimately end up getting killed on some street shit. We've seen rappers like King Von who are maybe a little too real for their own good and ultimately end up getting taken from us much before their time. That said, however, CJ is playing a dangerous game because just like what happened with 6ix9ine, portraying yourself as the real deal is all well and good until you got a real driller like 22 G's trying to hunt you down like a real op. But then again, who knows? I mean, maybe all of these guys coming out to pressure CJ on social media are just trying to hit CJ with that same method of extortion that the Treyway gangster blood successfully used to infiltrate 6ix9ine's circle at the very start of his career with disastrous consequences. And perhaps CJ is the real genius for resisting these extortion attempts at this stage in time. I don't know if CJ's real or fake, we're just going to have to wait and see what he drops, what he says, and what he gets up to in the future. Maybe to you, Whoopty is a real street gang and CJ is a total fraud, or maybe it's just a fun catchphrase to shout out while you're enjoying your favourite lit song. But for me, the real Whoopty is the friends we made along the way.
Hey. Hey, my guy ain't had no shirt on. He had the bandana on. He going in, man. Hey, that was a cool video, man. I don't know. It's the music industry, man. So some people gonna roll with it. Some people gonna, go the other way with it. So, I mean, it's been around for years and it just keep taking place. I mean, this is exactly like how you saying, like when 6ix9ine came out, like it was the sixth thing. I mean, it was the same thing. So, different rappers, different gimmicks, different backgrounds, it is what it is. So, I mean, hey, if he like it and it's working for him, I mean, it is what it is. But, like they saying, if you talking about certain things and you claiming certain things and talking about you this and that, and when that situation presents itself, hey, hey man, hey, if you here for the first time, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you can be aware the next time your boy, Mr. ICNet, drops his next reaction video. Until next time, y'all know the vibes. Peace.